Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And everything is proceeding as we have foreseen.
Exactly like we said would happen.
Exactly like we said would happen. Lucasfilm put out a statement making sure that you know that you're probably a racist.
Right. They won't put up with racism unless they're the ones perpetuating it on posters. They'll put up with people, being, toxic to Gina Carano, but they will not put up with supposed racism. And since a couple people probably did it, everybody's guilty if you didn't like the show.
So this is called making a problem where there is no problem and calling attention to something that really doesn't need to be called attention to. And also, as we said, we thought would happen, given current year Lucasfilm preemptive offense. They know that Obi-Wan is not going to land with a lot of fans, and it has nothing to do with Reva. It has to do with the gaping plot holes and canon busting that the show is apparently doing. And bad writing. And young Leia, who is annoying.
Yeah, that's mostly the writing.
That is the writing.
I'm not blaming the actress on that one.
We did a review, and honestly, Reva was the least of our complaints. Actually, I thought, the only thing I thought that was weird that this brand new character seemed to know everything about Anakin and Vader.
Well, the Anakin thing made sense, though, because she was at the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna, spoilers. Anakin's Darth Vader. We're gonna...
No!
Oh my god. So we're gonna talk about this, because this is very current...
I did that wrong.
No! It's impossible.
Sorry.
We're gonna talk about this situation, because this is very current year Lucasfilm. And basically, you're not allowed to criticize any of their stuff, because
if you do, you're an istophobe.
You're an istophobe. You're racist. You're a hater. A hate monger. A hate monger. You hate diversity and dinosaurs. All right. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 268,000 subs.
Woohoo!
Thank you for the support. We do talk about Star Wars, not as much as we used to, because frankly, I am completely checked out. But we talk about the situation with Lucasfilm and Disney, and we always talk about anti-marketing. Lucasfilm is very, very good at anti-marketing.
I know, they're not helping themselves at all.
They do not.
And so, of course, in lockstep, I lost count how many outlets were running with this. Like, oh my God, Lucasfilm called everybody out. Star Wars Count said, "We are proud to welcome Moses Ingram to the Star Wars family and excited for Reva's story to unfold. If anyone intends to make her feel in any way unwelcome, we have only one thing to say: we resist." No one gives a shit. There are more than 20 million sentient species in the Star Wars galaxy. Don't choose to be a racist. Here's my thing. One, they have no receipts for this. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because I 100% believe it does happen. But what I'm saying is, I think it's a very, 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 very small group of people that do it. And some of the accounts, I will bet you money, aren't even real accounts. Because we know for a fact, because we've had it happen to us, people will come that they are extremists on the left with accounts, and they try to behave in a way they think is a caricature of the people that they think are fandom menace. And they go around and make comments, and there's usually some cat with like number, 5 numbers after it, or some, I just joined, 2 years ago, or like 1 month ago, or sometime around a Star Wars issue.
We had somebody stalking us a couple of years ago with multiple alt accounts. And the one account, they had a guy with like a flag behind him and like a MAGA hat.
Yeah, and it was like a caricature.
And I called the guy out, or whatever, the person. I called the person out.
Yeah, it could have been a girl.
And they were like, well, we're one of your biggest fans, and we're just parroting back stuff that you say. It's like bullshit.
You would know he didn't say that then.
You don't even bullshit.
That's a guy the other day was saying, because something that Mecha Random had said, that supposedly we are bad because we did something and said something, and I'm like, well, I've been following you, I'm your fan. I'm like, but if you are a fan, one, you wouldn't be following and being followed by the one account from the person who is the biggest stalker we have. And 2, you just had an account start a month ago. And 3, you would have known the stuff you were saying was incorrect if you actually followed us.
Yeah, there's a lot of false flagging going on, just all the way around. And I'm not saying that there aren't legit.
Oh, I believe there are
racist people, right? I mean,
and don't do that, because that's shit.
I mean, it's not like we haven't had black people in Star Wars before.
Well, yeah, and that's what gets me. Other actors have been in Star Wars that were black, and they didn't say, well, Lucasfilm preemptively told us to expect racism. And some of these people came up after the Disney sequel trilogy. And another thing, where I believe it does happen, it is, like I said, it's a small percentage, a very small percentage, not a big enough percentage to warrant the comment that was made. Because at that point, it's basically like, if you don't like it, you must be racist if you don't like Reva. Well, actually, that was, like you said, the least of your concerns with the show was Reva.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. And this is what sucks about this is because the writing of the show is subpar and, in my opinion, breaks the canon of the original trilogy, and they don't seem to give a shit. This actress is going to get caught up in the shitstorm of that.
I know, and that's someone else said that. And then what's going to happen is a movie doesn't do well with subpar writing. People, then people like go on, like Lucasfilm goes on and says everybody's racist. People get mad, reject that. And then the actress or actor is the one who pays for it because people take it as, well, no one watched it. It was their fault when it's not. And again, we said this was going to happen. We told you this was going to happen because this is what they do. Yeah. They try to everybody, all these people that all the Phantom Menace bullied Kelly Marie Tran off of social media, and it's like, well, where? And it probably like a couple people. It's like you can't say everybody is these things. And the statement they put out, I agree. If you're a shitty person, don't do that kind of crap. But the show's still not that good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Data Racer actually has a nice image here that shows, a lot of recent people of color.
And the show is not even counting the comics.
I don't remember them making a statement for Carl Weathers. I
was thinking that.
I don't remember them making a statement for Giancarlo Esposito. I do remember Disney shrinking Finn in the poster.
Yes,
in China,
or removing it, yeah.
And downplaying his character. So this could be overcompensation because, Finn obviously was set up to be a much larger part of the sequel trilogy.
A lot of people are mad because he wasn't a larger part.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, Star Wars fans, for the most part, do not have a problem with non-white people in Star Wars. They have a problem with poorly written characters, and the biggest problem in the last 5 or 6 years, and this is something that Netflix is learning painfully, is when you hire activists to run your PR and your marketing, and they actually are anti-marketing, and they actually preemptively attack fans and get fans' backs up. You should have just dropped the show and said, what do you think?
Yeah, just all you had to do. But the actress came out and was like, oh yeah, Lucasfilm already warned me there can be a lot of racists. And then made the comment about, well, it's 2022. We should have black people in Star Wars. Yeah, you should. That's why they've been there. Yeah.
Darth Vader. We can argue Darth Vader even.
Oh my God, they try to argue Darth Vader.
Oh, but the thing is I actually, for the longest time until we found out, well, longest time wasn't that long, a couple of years until people found out that Darth Vader was Luke's father. Spoiler. A lot of people thought Darth Vader was a black guy because it was James Earl Jones, and he was very well known because of roots back then, and why wouldn't they think it's James Earl Jones?
But but I mean, the actor who was actually in the suit was a white guy. James Earl Jones just voiced the character. He wasn't actually the actor in the suit.
So Darth Vader was biracial.
And basically. And the only reason that was because David Prowse wasn't convincing enough with the voice, and James Earl Jones is perfect.
I love David Prowse, but I've seen footage of Vader with Prowse's voice, and I'm like, no, man.
James Earl Jones was a solid choice and the right way to go.
Yes.
And this is also the same Star Wars who did not even acknowledge his birthday the one year when he turned 90.
Because James Earl Jones, I believe, this is a theory, he is conservative-ish, and he's an outspoken conservative, and I think that he doesn't count.
Well, I think that's because the backlash they got when they gave certain people shout-outs on their birthday and not others, but...
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, this article, this is from several years ago.
So this is from several years ago, but it's so laughable because it's beyond parody because as some people pointed out, and I'd totally forgotten about this scene, in old Kevin Smith's, old fat Kevin Smith, funny.
Before he turned to the dark side.
He's more machine than man now. Before Kevin Smith turned to the dark side, he gave us a brilliant scene in Chasing Amy. And they talk about, Darth Vader and this very thing. Like, Darth Vader's a black man, but, what we learned from Return of the Jedi is that every black man wants to be a white man when you take the mask off. And it was funny. The way it was done was funny. And you watch this scene, you're like, this literally could be a current year comic book convention.
But it would be serious, not as a joke.
They'd be dead serious.
But it was funny to me because this person, I guess, lost their shit about Darth Vader being a white guy after the mask was taken off. And it's like, but Darth Vader was played by a white guy and the character of Anakin was a white guy.
Right,
He was just, James Earl Jones was just the voice of Darth Vader.
And now they just ignore James Earl Jones.
Yes, they just step over James Earl Jones completely, which is absolute shit. We called them out for that. I wrote an article on Pirates and Princesses about it. It's just funny to me because they did this the only time but the racism comment that Christina Ariel, they did it for her too. When people were harassing her, even though when you dig into her comments, she's made some comments that could be taken as racist by some.
She was making comments that, look, and I get people are angry, people have different opinions about the political landscape right now. The comments she was making at that point in time would have got other people fired. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
When Gina Carano was being harassed incessantly because she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, way before she put boop, bop, beep, or whatever she put in her write-up, she was harassed like for a long time before she even fought back. Was there any comments made by Lucasfilm that we don't put up with misogyny in Star Wars? They want to send that message that, well, we have to have more women because it's for everybody. The Force is female, guys. It's all about women. But when they had a woman that was their one character being attacked because she wouldn't put pronouns in her bio, which need I remind you, most of those other people at Lucasfilm didn't have pronouns in their bio either, including at the time that Christina Ariel. I don't know if she fixed that or not. They did nothing to stop harassment because she didn't vote the way that, people at Lucasfilm like, apparently. But they could have done something then. No statement was made. You had Bill Burr in The Mandalorian, and his wife's black, and they were talking about him being a racist and making comments about her being his, sex slave and stuff.
Oh, my God. There was a white man telling Bill Burr's wife that she was a sex slave.
Right.
A black woman.
Did Lucasfilm put a statement out in defense of Bill Burr? No. I'm just saying, if you're going to, I agree with the statement. I agree racism shouldn't be racism, but not everybody's like that.
Normal people would agree. This is common sense. The fact that you have to make a statement and then they're going to say on their side that it's like, oh, well, we're doing it because we know all of our fans are shit. But I'm like, you're preemptively presuming all of your fans are shit. This is what you really think. You think all of your fans are shit.
The fact that they told her that there was going to be these racist attacks and then immediately put out a statement when the show was kind of getting like a 71 on Rotten Tomatoes, which I will admit, some of those things they're downvoting it and some things they're upvoting it. But when they started it didn't get as much, yay as they thought it would. Then here it come out, well, we don't agree with racism because that's what's going on. It's not doing well because of the racists. You already tipped your hand. But the fact that you went and did that before it even came out shows exactly what you were setting up when it came out. Yeah. I 100% believe some people made some racist comments. I'd be stupid not to believe that because I guarantee you some shitheads made some racist comments. Do I think that it was the majority of fans? Hell no. Do I think it warranted a statement from Star Wars? Hell no. Do I think that they're going to use this now to vilify anybody who doesn't like Obi-Wan? Yes. That's what this is all about.
Because I think those spoilers are true. And even if Reva was a white woman or a white guy, the fact that this character is going to come in and supposedly do these really super important things and kind of sideline Obi-Wan, again, if the rumors are true, is not going to set well with fans.
No, because it should have been Obi-Wan.
It doesn't matter, race, gender, whatever. It should have been Obi-Wan.
And yeah, the character of Reva is kind of annoying. I said she's coarse and gritty like sand. But, here's the thing. I think that they're setting her up that way to start. And I think that's to set up the character progression towards the end. If the rumors are true, which they probably are, she's going to be a completely different person by the end of the show than she is at the beginning of the show. She's meant to be an unlikable bitch. That's the point. So I'm confused here. If she's meant to be an unlikable bitch, and that's the point, and people don't like her, isn't that your point? No, it's racism. It's like, but you set her up to be an unlikable bitch. So what are people supposed to do? Like her anyway, just because she's black? But that's insulting to the actress. She's not doing her job right.
She's intimidating people.
That's her job.
Spoiler. She cuts the hand off a poor old lady on Tatooine just for looking at her cross-eyed.
Yeah, I'm like, you're setting her up to be an unlikable bitch. People don't like her. Oh my God, racism.
They don't like our villain.
I'm like, what the hell?
What?
I'm like, you can't make this shit up. You're just a terrible racist person. I have to point out, among the comments, right, going on with this, this one person, so I want to say again, though, before we read this comment, that people have this assumption that, if you don't like a character that's black, it's because you don't like that person. It's like, no, sometimes it's because you race bend a character for no reason. Sometimes it's because, you want the character to be unlikable, so when people don't like the character, then they're in trouble anyway. But among the comments in response to this was this gem. Those who claim Star Wars sucks because of wokeness, you do realize the original trilogy is a story of a fight for social justice against a racist empire, right? Luke is the ultimate SJW. Star Wars has always been political. It has always been woke. And I'm like, wait a minute. They killed off Luke in a punk-ass way in the Disney trilogy. So wait, should they be canceled now because he was fighting the good fight for social justice and they killed him? Shouldn't we be triggered about that?
Yeah, and according to old Kevin Smith, it was about a bunch of white guys who went and ganged up on poor black Darth Vader.
They got their clan together. They
clanned up on Darth Vader, and they gentrified the empire. Yeah, there weren't a lot of black people in the original Star Wars, right? I mean, they added Lando later because it's like, oh yeah, I gotta have a black person in here.
That's probably true though.
But it was true.
And since then, they have done all kinds of things like in the prequels and everything else to rectify the situation. George Lucas is married to a black woman.
I know, right?
I'm just like,
George Lucas, yes.
Clearly, dude has no problem with race stuff.
Right. And George Lucas also has been very, very salty about the direction of Star Wars. And is it political? Yeah. They're fighting literal space Nazis. You're fighting space Nazis. That's what you're doing. But also in the 70s, you were allowed through the 40s up through the 70s, you were allowed to unironically hate Nazis, portray Nazis, whether they're in outer space or in Indiana Jones or whatever. And the through line through a lot of 80s entertainment was Nazis were the ultimate bad guy.
If it wasn't them, it was Russia.
Right. Russia and Nazis.
That's the 80s. Russia and Nazis.
Right. So, yes, in that regard, it was political.
But actual Nazis, not... You voted for an orange guy, so you clearly are a Nazi.
Your grandmother's a Nazi.
You don't like my show about, lesbians with a sword, so you're a Nazi. I'm like, okay, that's not what that means.
It doesn't even mean anything anymore because of doofuses.
That's not what any of this means.
Like, soft doofuses like this is like, holy shit. Like, this is like, these accounts, I see them anymore, I'm like, you are a literal parody of the kind of shit that's like...
they wouldn't survive. They wouldn't have survived the World Wars. They wouldn't have survived the 80s.
You want to go punch a Nazi there? There's one right over there. Here's some brass knuckles. They got guns, but if you want to go punch one...
Knock yourself out.
Yeah, knock yourself out, or they're going to knock you out.
They go to somebody behind when their back's turned and hit them and be like, I punched a Nazi. It's like...
Good luck with that.
But
good luck with that.
I'm just like, this whole thing, and honestly, at the end of the day, the person who's going to suffer the most from this, besides the fans that are going to get, vilified, is the actress.
Yeah.
Who's playing Reva, because... Now they're going to just, they're going to get caught up in this shit and it's going to hurt them down the road. And I don't think that's fair or right. And where I agree, some people complained about the character. That's not the same thing as being racist. It's not.
Yeah, we have to start making a separation between the character and the writing and the actors. Now, in some cases, you get actors and actresses that are saying some shitty stuff in the real world and it intermingles and people hate the character because they don't like the actor or actress, whatever. But in this case, and as is the case in a lot of pop culture, it's a poorly written character, obvious political agenda, obvious ham-fisted. Then you've got the marketing like, well, if you don't like this character, it's because you just hate black women, and that, again, is anti-marketing because you are literally upfront telling the fandom they have to love this character, they have to love this show, or they are racists. And you don't want to be a racist, do you?
I'll give it to Disney for breaking some barriers, though, with their new Pinocchio movie, because they have the Blue Fairy as a black woman. I'm just glad, one, that she doesn't have hair, because I have said many times that we need more representation for people without hair. If you watch our videos, you know that's true. I have said that.
She doesn't have brushable hair.
No, but
you're
what?
Okay with that?
Only because I think those people aren't represented enough. But beyond that, I just like the fact that it was another color and they used blue as a basis instead of purple. It was a refreshing change. I thought I give them full credit for that because it's a refreshing change from the purple that these animated shows usually, portray black people as.
So I have questions. Now we're talking about Pinocchio, and I think I asked it on Twitter. How is Disney going to deal with the child trafficking in live action?
I have good news. If it's the boat scene where the kids are all cheering and as they get off the boat, now it's boys and girls. It's not just boys.
Boys and girls.
So
they're
pushing
Island.
Equality for those going to Pleasure Island to be turned into asses. I say you just go to Twitter. That usually turns you to an ass right off easy, and you don't have to die or get trafficked.
Oh my god, that'd be funny if like you go to Pleasure Island and it's just a giant blue bird in the gate and you walk in.
Basically, the pleasure is you get a keyboard.
Yeah. And
you can say whatever you want, and then you turn it into an ass.
Because we know they're not gonna let kids smoke.
Oh, I doubt that. But at least they're being equal. Boys and girls get to go to Pleasure Island to be turned into donkeys.
Everybody has the opportunity to be an ass.
But to be fair, they'll probably be okay with turning everybody into donkeys. They would probably draw the line if you wanted to put elephants in there too.
I just think it's really interesting. You look at the way that Lucasfilm is dealing with this, and you look at the Suicide Squad, which I loved. I didn't expect to like it, but I loved it. And Waller is one of the nastiest pieces of work in all of DC Comics, all of DCEU, right? And I don't think that Warner felt the need to preemptively put out some sort of notice and say, like, you know what? Please don't hate the actress that plays Waller because, you're racist if you think Waller's awful. Actually, it's kind of refreshing. Like, they hit her over the head, and they, take pot shots at her, and she's treated like a villain, like a normal person. It's okay to not like the villains. It's okay to be like...
That means the actress is doing her job.
She's very good, actually. She's very good. She is thoroughly unlikable, but that's the point. And
Reva's supposed to be thoroughly unlikable.
That's the
point.
People are supposed to hate her. She's doing mean things to innocent people.
But Star Wars is mad because that's racism.
That's racism. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe, it's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run. Oh, you got splatted. Oh, she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a...
Not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like, I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
He better.
Oh my god, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him. Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica Pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. Ooh, sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run them carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
No. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.